entertainment and was looking for something to do. And literally, I wanted to move to Fort Lauderdale and sell boats. My daughter was a senior in high school. She wouldn't move. And so I just thought I would do real estate for a year. And here I am, 13 years later, doing it. So, I stepped into real estate with a background in business and sales, but knew nothing about real estate. And so I just followed systems and models. And I did very good my first year in real estate. I made, which is, it can be done, but this was in 2000. I went in December of 2003. In 2004, I made $137,000 take home. And that was through working in farming. And then I ended up growing into the luxury team. I became a CLHMS, Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist, and went into the 500,000 and above market, specializing in that. And again, went into more of a specialized type of farming. It was more expensive opposed to, just neighborhood dialing, or neighborhood mailing. I was doing direct mail to a million and above. And so that we did a luxury thing, and I did very successful until 2011, and I decided that I wanted to go back to school to become a certified life coach, and I got my life coaching certification, and now I'm coaching realtors. So I love it.
Well, great. That's awesome. So you obviously had a very successful first year. And is there anything that you would do differently now that you've been in the business and now coaching agents in their first year?
I probably, if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would have probably gone deeper into my farm. I did do moderate door knocking, but I did not door knock the entire neighborhood. And I think that if I would have spent my year before I got busy, crazy busy, spending more time in the streets of the community, making sure that I knew every single person, and their story. And you hear of people that do this with a farm of 500. My farm was about 12,500 houses. Again, of course, I didn't start mailing that by any stretch. I was using a variety of methods to reach those people. But I do think that I would go back and spend more time door knocking to go to the community, because those people end up being your referral partners for life. Mm-hmm. And so that would be the one thing I would have spent more money in the community and in the streets door knocking.
Awesome. So let's just go ahead and define farming for everyone. Mm-hmm. What is farming?
Mm-hmm. And so I did not start with Keller Williams, because in 2003 it was very much Keller who. And they were just opening their first market centers here in the Orlando area in 04 and 05. And so I just got the MREA book as a new agent, and I followed the models that Gary wrote in that book, even though I was with a small boutique brokerage, and then I went on to Sotheby's. I built a team within Sotheby's, but I still stuck with the fact that Gary says you do prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced farming. You cannot mail just postcards and get business. Through consistent of mailing postcards in an area combined with knocking on doors, doing door hangers, high execution of open houses, some other types of marketing, showing up at community events within your farm, going to yard sales and open houses and previewing properties that are listed. But this is how farming works. Farming is not strictly mailing postcards. It is showing up in your community. And I don't know if Jenny Wimmert coined the phrase, but it's going deep. And so you make sure that you show up on every level. So when they do put up the for sale by owner sign, or you do see that expired listing, they know who you are. They just haven't met you. And so when you get to the door, they'll say, well, thank you. You finally showed up. In the expired listing situation, you go in and say, hi, I'm Danny Veal. I specialize in College Park. And they're like, oh, we absolutely know who you were. And they're like, we should have listed with you, but it was a friend, family member, or a referral source that took the first listing, and they didn't know the area. And as we all know, being an area specialist is going to price the house pretty much dead on, opposed to someone coming from a different market and guessing on the pricing. And so, again, showing up and going deep in your community is what farming is all about. And there's all different variables of farming that you can do to reach a community. Is that the right answer you're looking for, Lana?
Absolutely, dead on. Um,
Okay,
so I
super.
want to ask you, you read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, yet you weren't with Keller Williams at the time. So
Mhm.
what made you choose this as your lead generation method?
Um, because I knew, well, not first of all, um, I my personality profile is a disc. It does not match with buyers at all. And I'm a very pragmatic person, and I worked with a few buyers initially, and I just didn't have the patience for it. And coming from a business background, um, I just said, there's got to be something better I can do than drive around and show endless homes to people that aren't making decisions. And then through reading the MREA, and I also read How to Be a Top Producer by Daryl Davis, and it just showed that long-term sustainable business professionals in the real estate business focused on listings. And I still to this day, and I, teach this every day, that I know that the internet is a great tool. I know it's a great tool. It's a great marketing tool. But if you were to go back to the statistics, and this is a fun one, you can go check the census. There are a large portion of the nation that still does not have internet in their house. And so if you're looking for a reliable way to get to reach sellers directly, go back and look at the statistics of how many actual homeowners are on Facebook, how many homeowners in a community are on LinkedIn, how many homeowners are on Twitter, and then ask yourself how many homeowners have a mailbox. And it's a very quick, math process.
Yeah.
And so if you want to dominate an area and you want to make, and again, you've done your research and you want to dominate this area, the one way that you can reach every single homeowner is through their mailbox or front door.
Yeah, very well put. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, so is there a formula to pick your farm? How did you choose it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing about the farm that I chose was a small zip code on the northwest side of downtown Orlando. And it's a gentrified, yuppie neighborhood. It was originally built between 1945 and 1960, I would say. The very short run of small cottages and bungalows. It's a very sweet brick-lined streets, oak trees, some sweet lakes, but most of the homes are two-bedroom, one-bath, three-bedroom, one-bath homes. The proximity to downtown is very desirable. The positive is young couples love buying these homes. Are very romantic. They're very charming. And Lana, I'm sure you remember that from living here.
Yeah, I
Everybody
still live
loves College Park.
there.
It's got the little Mayberry downtown and all that stuff. The one challenge is the minute that the wife expecting the first baby, they realize they can't live in that house.
Yep.
And there's nowhere for the child, there's nowhere for clothes. They all have small closets. So I chose that because the turnover rate is between 8 and 10% annually, and that's the number you have to look for. So I chose a farm that, yes, they're older homes, and yes, it's romantic, but people would buy them, keep them for 2 to 3 years, and they have to go, because you just can't live in them. And that was my baseline to stay in there. So what you're looking for in a neighborhood is you're going to take the total number of homes, and then you're going to look at how many homes sold for the year. And if you see a 6% or above turnover rate, then that is a fair farm for you to go after because you've got enough, sales going on in that area. But if it's under 6%, it might not have the best return on your investment. And you can't just look at price point either, because some will say, well, $1 million home neighborhood might not have that high turnover rate. It's still a cost of advertising for you to reach that community and market that listing. So under 6%, it's very questionable for you to do that. Now, 8% is ideal, but if it goes above 10%, you need to see what's wrong with the neighborhood. Because if you see a lot of people selling out, you might want to look and see what the city planning is going on. have the school zones changed. Not that it's going to be bad to get a listing. You'll get a lot of listings, but you might have a lot of listings going in there and then you can't sell them, or then you have to have some tough conversations with sellers. So the sweet spot seems between 8 and 10%, an area that you can go at. Does that help you?
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a great point about making sure that there's not an issue if it's too high, because that's a red
Hmm.
flag as well. What about
Hmm.
age of the homes in the neighborhood? Is that a concern?
It depends on what your business model looks like and what your forecast, for your, business looks like. And as far as, how long do you want to stay in this? You need to be looking at a plan that, not in real estate, especially when you're going to do farming. It's not as quick and easy as for sale by owners and expireds and open houses. So you're making a long-term commitment to this. So if you go into an established community and all the homes are 10 years plus or older, and you're seeing a healthy rollover, it's all right with the age. The age of the home doesn't matter because, again, most of the homes that I were farming was older homes. Again, turnover rate, because you may find an older community that's just not selling because you see that families, so this is a big thing in Boston, there's multifamily homes and they just don't roll over. So you'll have to look at that. But going into a new home community, especially if you bought there, if you want to make that a farm, because there are people that buy a new house and for some reason, relocation, divorce, they have to sell. And if you're going to look at a 10-year plan, and I do know an agent that did this, she was the third house in the community, and she just said she's going to make a commitment to meet every single person that they closed on as they built. And I guess she's been doing that now for 5 or 6 years. The community's almost built out. She's the #1 listing agent in the community, and she's doing great. Again, but she was very purposeful. So, you can do it in a new home community if you plan on staying for a long time. You can do it in an existing community if the ratio turnover rate is correct.
Great. Okay, so we've got your farm. You picked it. It's got a 9% turnover ratio. You're happy. What's the first step?
The first step is going to be what method of media are, you're going to do to get to these people. I have had someone that started with a farm of 2,000 houses, and it was very handsome. He did not have any money for marketing, and he was just going to make a commitment to walk those 2,000 homes every month. Now, some of you might say, good Lord, 2,000 houses, I have to walk that neighborhood. First of all, you shouldn't be farming a neighborhood you don't like. That's number one. If you're not willing to walk that neighborhood and you're not romantically involved with this and saying, I love this neighborhood, I can sell this neighborhood, I'm proud to have my sign in this neighborhood, that's number one. Number two, it only takes an hour for you to do door hangers to 60 and 100 houses. And that was his intentions, was 1 to 2 hours a day. He was walking down one particular street and doing door hangers and talking to people in the neighborhood. And so, you can do that, and that's the very shoestring method. The other method is going to be, of course, postcarding. And you can check your EDDM route or your every door direct mail through the post office. That is the most effective way for you to hit a large number. And I think right now the EDDM rate per postcard is running 16.5 to 17.5 cents per postcard. And so we just did my daughter's in real estate. She's in the downtown market as well. And she's doing her farm covers about 5,000. And so she just did a postcard. One of the things that we feature is if you list or sell with us, you get to use a moving truck that we own. So she put the moving truck on the postcard. She mailed out 5,000 postcards to her farm. Total ticket for that was about $1,200. It's a handsome expense. But again, she's up and running. She got 10 CMA requests, 2 listings, and a buyer out of that postcard. And again, this isn't the first time they saw her, but you sit there and do the math. She got about $900,000 worth of inventory off of $1,000 mailing. And again, that mailing is going to continue to feed her for a long time. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking about, how am I going to touch 5,000 people and know that I'm hitting 5,000 sellers? That's not a bad gig, because I know some people that spend $1,200 a month on, internet marketing, and you don't know if they're going to get it or not. So EDDM is one of the methods. Door hanging is a method. And then, of course, door knocking is a very handsome way. Having those conversations, are the number one way to create relationships. And you spend an hour to 4 hours a week, whatever your lead gen looks like. But you can have some great conversations if you do it purposefully, and you say, I'm going to do it from 4 to 5, 4 days a week, and just go introduce myself to the neighbors and have an item of value, the
So
market update, and they
what would you
appreciate.
say to them?
Oh, hi, I'm Danny Veal with Keller Williams. You may have gotten my postcard before, but I specialize in College Park. I have a quick question to ask you, and they'll all say yes. And you say, are you considering selling your home anytime near in the future? No. Okay, well, here's a market update. These are some statistics that might help you in knowing what the value of your current home is, and my contact information is on the bottom of it. If you need anything, just let me know, and keep walking. And because you don't want to be uncomfortable. Again, this is neighborhood. Now, other conversation could be, if you have the information of a home that just went on the market or a home that just sold, it does not have to be your listing. Hi, I'm Danny Veal with Keller Williams. I just wanted to let you know 457 Main Street just sold, and would you like to know the information about the property? They all say yes. It sold for $257,000, and the Kings bought the home. Please welcome to the neighborhood. But I also have a question for you. They'll say yes. You say, are you considering moving at any time? And they'll say no. Or you can say, National Association of Realtors say, when one home sells in a neighborhood, 2 or 3 homes around it are going to go for sale as well. Are you one of those sellers that's considering selling? And they'll say yes or no. If they say yes, you have an opportunity. If they say no, you say, may I ask you a fun question? And they'll say yes. And you say, if you were going to move, where would you move? And they're going to tell you, and they're going to say, as soon as little Johnny graduates from high school, we're moving to the beach. Or as soon as we hope to move to the mountains in 2 years. You go back to your notepad, you write down that, and you've got a future listing in your funnel.
Sounds like you've done this before, Danny. I think you know your script. So
yeah.
that's awesome. So you did the initial door knocking, you've got mailers.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you do
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the year? Now what?
So this is consistency. So if you pick a farm from 200 to 1,200 or 2,000, whatever number you pick, you have to make a commitment for 13 touches. So this is a big commitment, and when I sit all my coaching agents down, I'm like, when you identify the first farm, do you love it? Are you connected to this place? Are you comfortable walking the neighborhood? Yes. Are you comfortable walking the neighborhood for 12 months? Meaning showing up. And if they're committed, that means you show up for every yard sale. You ride through the neighborhood once a week to look for sale by owners. You show up for any community events that they have, and you have the opportunity to be seen, because real estate is a contact sport. And if you have a dog, you walk your dog through the neighborhood. If things that you appreciate. I've got agents that do all kinds of things. I've got people that do Christmas events in neighborhoods. I've got one agent that does Easter egg hunt. I've got another one that does an art event, which is very interesting, and she has a lot of people show up for that. People bring their own arts and crafts and stuff for an art event. She hosts that. I've got one that is in a 55-plus community that does a makers event. And it's just a maker. If you make anything, come set up a table and share what you make. Do you do woodworking? Do you do jams and jellies? Do you do needlepoint? Come share the things that you make. So, what you want to do for that next year is making sure that you're engaging at a high level. You're communicating. And market updates are, again, every single homeowner loves a market update. And I'm going to take a Jenny Wimmer-ism, which is, Jenny says that, it's interesting that if you have stocks and bonds or a savings account or, something like that, you get a statement of value every month or every quarter for these holdings in which you have. But no one sends you anything on the value of your house. And so what she wanted to do was provide a market update regularly to her homeowners and her farm to let them know what was going on so they would have an idea of what their home value was. So she came from contribution, and I've never, ever, ever had someone say, oh, I don't want this, or how dare you give me a market update. Everyone's appreciated, and everyone loves those numbers. So that's what you do for the years. You become the number one expert on pricing and values in the neighborhood, and they have no choice but to call you.
Oh yeah. I just because I know Jenny, I knew that there was never going to I would never get a listing in her neighborhood. She
Never,
owned that
never.
place.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Right.
and you pretty much got attacked if you even tried, not by Jenny, but by the neighbors if you didn't use
By
her.
the neighbors. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Okay, awesome. So pretty much just consistency, have a plan is what I'm hearing, and
Hmm.
13 times a year.
Minimum. You want to take it and own it, and you hope to do it for 10 years. I stopped doing production. Gosh, when did I stop really marketing? It was 2010 whenever I kind of dropped off. And, I was focusing on going to life coaching school, and business was just different for me, if you will. And so I was dealing with referrals and stuff that was coming in, but I wasn't doing any outreach. And last Thursday, I got a phone call, and a woman calls, lovely lady. She says, "Hey, Danny, it's Leslie." I'm like, "Hi, I don't know who Leslie is, but I'm like, and she said, "Well, I'm ready to sell this house." Okay, and then it just clicked me, and I thought, "Oh my God, this is Leslie Powell." And that is a CMA that I delivered 7 years ago. And
Wow.
so, she said, "Of course, who else would I call? You did this market analysis for me. I'm ready to sell the house. I've got an investment house to sell, and I want you to sell me something that's a 55 plus community." So Sunday, I listed 2 houses and sold one. So you can
Go
never ever
you.
go wrong. You can never ever go wrong with farming, because without developing those relationships, it will always come wrong.
So, do you do any follow up via email or social media after you're in dialogue with them, or is it all face to face
No,
and
it's all
mailing?
you always utilize your drip campaigns. Everyone goes on a drip campaign until you drip on them until they tell you to stop. You invite them to community events. You treat these people like your referral partners, because that's who they are. Can you imagine what it's like to have 500 to 2,000 people referring your name out?
Be incredible.
And that's how it works, because these are not people, it's okay if they don't want to sell their house, but could you please give my name and number to someone that you do know that might be interested in moving to this beautiful neighborhood? Or if you know someone that needs it to sell their home, I would be more than happy to help them. And you turn these people in your farm into your referral sources.
That's great. So, what conversion ratios should we be expecting?
So one agent told me, and what they'll say sometimes on postcards, you get 1 to 2%. Same thing on door hangers. But I started with a young agent, I guess 7 months ago, and he's going to cap the first quarter this year. He's doing fabulous. But he says you get out of it what you put into it. And so are there, if you get into all these methods and get in some ratio statistics, but he did the postcards, he did the door hangers, he did the door knocking, he did the 60 rounds of open houses, and his return ratio is much higher because he's making a point to have a verbal conversation with everybody. So I will tell you that whenever I came into the College Park market, and Ann Rogers, and you may remember that name, Lana. She's a great agent. She has her own office and a boutique office.
Mm-hmm.
And she was number one. I was zero. The next year, I did everything that she did, and again did the MRE book. And our zip code, she was number one, and I was number two by the end of the year. And it's again because showing up at a high level. So 1% for 2% if you only do postcards. But if you do door knocking and engaging at a high level, it's a much higher percentage.
Okay, great. So you, I mean, your first year of farming, do you remember how many homes or deals you got out from that?
Oh, I sold 35 houses my first year.
Oh, that's awesome. So what is the greatest challenges for
Is
farming?
so greatest. It wasn't a challenge for me, but I see it with all the other agents. And my disc is an IC. So I am a rule follower. I'm a systems and models person. I know where I'm going to be on what day of the month and what's going on. And this is just me. I wake up in the morning and I'm just a little machine. And this is the thing is your postcards go out on the 15th. Your open houses are to be held. You're supposed to do stuff consistently, and that is the biggest challenge. Is people following a schedule and being non-negotiable. And if you follow the MREA model and you do your lead gen the first 2 hours of the day, it's not a problem. But business planning is very important. Making sure your marketing pieces go out, making sure that you on Saturday you drive twice a month to go through all the whatever works for you for the garage sales. You list a group of streets, and I'm going to do this street on this day, this street on another day. It's the systems that people drop, and that is the greatest challenge. Or month number 4, well, I mailed my postcards and I haven't heard anything. This is a 12-month process, and you have to, whenever you do it, you have to engage for 12 full months, because this is not just mail instant response. This is, I'm building a career and building what they call goodwill in the community, and you're building a brand.
Yes, absolutely.
And I will tell you, my daughter mailed 4,000 postcards in for her January. I guess it was the week she mailed her postcards between New Year's and Christmas and New Year's. She mailed 4,000 postcards. She got absolutely nothing. The first week of the last week of January, she mailed her cards, and she got 10 CMA requests. So it's because of the consistency. I beg your pardon?
Do you have an idea around why that happened?
I think that, you never know. The holidays are always peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a proponent of her. I did not endorse that. She wanted to do it on her own because she thought more people would be home to read the postcard. Yeah, whatever. I'm a 15th of the month boy, because if you go back and you look through the entire calendar, the 15th of the month does not compete with any holidays. And so I just like mailing in the middle of the month. And so, but you're building a relationship. People are seeing you on a regular basis, and then when they see you at the local grocery store, they see you at the post office, you're a warm conversation because they've seen your face for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what would make someone choose this over another type of lead gen?
Again, this is long term. This is where you are going to live in this community. This is your home, and you want to stay there. You can go into a market and you can make faster, quicker money, but you're going to be transaction based, where you're just hitting it and getting it and going out the door. And that's okay for some people. High D's love that. And you're just dialing, but at the same time, you have no shelf life, in my opinion. I'm still listing a house a week almost, and I'm not doing anything, and it's all from the past coming forward.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you would like to add about farming for the agents, and then we can open it up for questions?
Whenever you're mailing, the most important thing is item of value and call to action. Item of value and call to action. Do not waste your money on vanity marketing. They do not care who you are. They'd like to see your face associated with market value to make your market, updates to make you identified as the expert. You want to have, if you're considering selling, are you considering selling your home? Call me for a free market analysis. Here's the benefits of listing with me. My company offers X, Y, Z. How can I help you accomplish your goals? It has to be about them. It's not, I'm a multi-million-dollar producer. I'm the greatest realtor in the world. They don't care about you. They care about them, and you need to speak to their needs. That's the one thing that I see realtors. I've got, in my market, I've got a realtor, and I'm not going to point it out, but they've got this beautiful ad. We're your neighbor. We love being here, and and it goes on and on and on. Nowhere does it say that they're a realtor. Nowhere. This is a beautiful, probably $1,000 a month ad, and they're the competitions. I'm not going to point it out, but I do use an example in my classes that you can't, it's not about you, it's about them.
Yeah.
And if they know that you're 100% for them, but just don't get caught up in the vanity crap, it's not going to pay you a penny. It has to be about them. You have to give items of value consistently.
And also, I noticed you mentioned to ask the question of if or when are they going to sell, not just
Right.
tiptoeing around it.
No, no, you're a realtor. You're a real estate professional. Hi, how are you? Just got a quick question. Are you happy on, selling your home? Oh, okay, well, here's a market update for the information for the value. Have a great day. And therefore, they don't get aggravated with you if you make it very short and sweet. And again, if you're farming correctly, they know who you are. You can say, hi, I'm Danny Veal. I specialize in, I'm Keller Williams, College Park. I specialize in College Park. Just wanted to introduce myself. If you need anything, here's my information. Have a great day. Bye. And be walking.
Walking and waving. Walking and
Walking
waving.
away. Yeah, because you're going to be coming back,
You are.
And my daughter does say, she says, and I'll be back next month. Have a good week, month. I love that. I never said that. She's like, I'll be back next month. Have a good month. And it works, which is crazy. But
so I would love to open it up for questions. We're going to use the chat bar because if I unmute everyone, who knows what sounds will pop up.
Sure.
So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. Or I've realized if you're not using your computer, you can text me questions as well if you called in. I'll have my phone next to me as well. While we're waiting. Oh, here's a few. Yeah. Okay. Woo, here they come. Okay.
There we go.
So, how do you get emails or phone numbers from the door knocking?
Emails and phone numbers. Believe it or not, I do not push for that. I know that's probably, that Diana Kokoska says it's not a conversation, it should beat on them, and get that out of them. Sometimes if you say, would you like me to email me the market update? Again, I lean around items of value. And I've rarely had someone, and I'm going through my daughter's experiences right now. She's getting a lot of emails just given to her. I'd like to email, would you like to receive an email monthly with the market update? Most of them say yes, and she says, may I get your email address and do that. We don't really dance around as far as dancing around the questions. We go ahead and ask right away, get it, and then you walk away. So just say, would you like to receive a market update on a regular basis? What is your email address? And it's done.
Awesome. And then, so the phone numbers too then, correct?
Well, phone numbers, she owns a prime seller leads website. And again, the way that people communicate today are very different from whenever I was in production because of texting and email. And so sometimes they put it in there. White Pages offers it. A lot of people are much freer with their email addresses than they are with their phone numbers.
Yeah.
So, that's why we don't spend a lot of time trying to drill down for phone numbers. We really want emails addresses so we can put them on drip campaign.
Awesome. And then we have a question. Can you say the letters again of the Every Door Direct?
Oh, it's EDDM. So I'll say the website real slow. It's USPS.com/EDDM. And there's a wonderful training on it. And you can just type EDDM mailings in your YouTube search bar, and there'll be a ton of information that pops up. Now, if everybody's listening to this, there are very strict dimensions to be printed and mailed. So Got Print is the go-to that I like for printing, and they have EDDM approved sizes. They're not bad sizes, but please be cautious ordering your postcards and make sure they're the correct size for your EDDMs. And they're great value. Allegra's postcards run her about 27 cents. It's 9 plus 7. Yeah, so it's 27 cents per postcard right now. Printing, full color, both sides, and postage. It's through that method.
Awesome. And okay, so we're getting more specific here. What do you put on your postcards other than market updates? What else do you do?
But I am a proponent of having neighborhood websites, and my daughter's website is collegeparkhomevalue.com because she's in the neighborhood called College Park. But you can use a city, you can use a neighborhood. It's collegeparkhomevalue.com. It's a home valuation website, and Prime Seller Leads is that one. There's also Brivity. There's also Cloud CMA. You can also use your Keller Williams website. Prime Seller Leads is a little more sticky. They go in, type their address, and it gives them a real broad valuation. But when they type in their address, you have their home address, and Allegra goes to their house the next day and delivers a printed CMA and introduces herself.
Awesome. So do you just mix between market updates and the home valuation? Is there anything else you'll give item of value wise?
So Rob Daniels, a Bold coach, asked a good question last time in Bold. He said, if Southwest Airlines is setting themselves apart by offering 2 free bags, what are you doing to offer your 2 free bags to set yourself apart as a realtor? And so we did this first attempt with the free moving truck, and that got some response. So again, item of value. Market update still seems to be number 1. Home evaluation or free CMA still seems to be number 2. And we're just trying this 2 free bag situation. The one thing, if you have a particular talent that's good, that maybe you're great at staging homes, or maybe you have your staging designation, or I do have someone that is a senior residential specialist. She specializes in senior living, and that's her, specialty. So that is something that's going to attract a niche market to you. So yes, that can be part of your farming.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else have any other questions? I think that covered all the questions I received. If you don't have a moving truck, how about contributing up to blank towards a rental? What do you think of that?
Okay, so wow, somebody saw right through that. Yes, because if you have a bunch of closings at the end of the month, you only have 1 moving truck. Yes, we contribute if that truck is not available, we contribute $150 towards moving expense. And I would be careful about putting that dollar, but I would say contact me for a lot of you'll have to help me with the words here, but you have to be kind of careful because of RESPA and all that stuff. But you have to say, contact me about the moving benefit that I offer if you list with me. And then in your listing presentation, you talk about that sounds right, Lana, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. You don't want to put an actual dollar amount, just for 2 reasons, I believe. One, for the obviously regulations, and 2, what if the pricing changes?
Exactly.
So I would be careful on putting a specific dollar amount, but absolutely a contribution towards moving would definitely be an opportunity.
So the one thing I do want to throw out that a lot of people don't think about, and this is very, very important whenever you're trying to build a farm, is if you sell a home in your farm, you make sure to I would love to throw a housewarming party for you if you would be up to it. If you would like to meet your neighbors, I would be more than happy. Our office has the punch bowl and all that stuff set up for it. But it'd be very inexpensive for you to, bring, especially after closing, to bring some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks and, soda pop or whatever, and throw a housewarming party, because you get to walk the neighborhood and say, hi, I just sold 457 Main Street. We're having a housewarming party Thursday night at 4 o'clock to meet the neighbors. Please come. Do you see? You're the go-to, and they're like, that's, it's an incredible way for you to meet people, and people are going to say, oh, where are you going? where Lana's throwing a housewarming party for the new people she just sold the house to. So, I mean, slam dunk.
Now, this throws me out there to just ask you, and I don't know your answer, so be honest.
Mhm. Sure.
When you sold a house, do you start what we call orphan buyers, right? Do you start targeting the buyers on the other side from your listing sales?
Absolutely. I mean, I have to tell you, I have sold so many homes, and I will tell. It's embarrassing to say, but they'll say, who was our realtor that sold us this house? And you don't need to know that because I'm here. So, or either they would say, you were so nice to mail us. We at the point that I was in production, we had Lowe's gift cards, and I would adopt the agent because I mean the buyer, because I knew the buyer's agent probably didn't give them a Lowe's card, so I'd put them on the community newsletter. Send them a Lowe's card. I would do all this kind of stuff to make sure that they were welcome to the neighborhood and all that stuff. And I have to say, I got the vice president of Duke University out of that. And, he
Nice.
was the dean of something, and he's like, well, we really don't like it. And we saw how much you did the marketing. I've had, buyers come in and look at my listings and they fired their agent and wanted to work with me. It happens. There's no shame in my game. It's about the money. I didn't do anything unethical. I want to throw that in there. I did not do anything unethical.
Thank you, Danny. Oh, that's funny. Um, well, I this was another question. What about contributing to sponsorships for a casino night or Easter party in the area you farm?
That's a good idea. Um, you have to look at what each community event looks like. The one thing that I like the agent to get all of the attention. And so if you are contributing, make sure that you have a good banner and you invite people to it, or you just participate and tell everybody you're going to be there. But sponsorship sounds wonderful. Um, Again, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get nose to nose, toes to toes with these people, because it's that contact that's going to get you the business.
Yeah, it's not just being a little logo on the back of the buck, right?
No, no, no. It's you got to get out there and shake hands and kiss babies.
I'm giving like 2 seconds because every time I go to wrap up, there seems to be another great question. So,
So just to share with you what we're doing is there's a lot that what we're doing next month. It's called Sunday in the Park. We've got one of the communities has a cute little park. It's called Dartmouth Park, and the neighborhood association gets together and they rent 10 by 10 spaces for, I think it's $250, and you get on the newsletter and all that stuff. So you get a space, and it's the community businesses get together. We are doing that. We do have a popcorn machine, which is very, very inexpensive to rent. So this is very, very low cost. Popcorn's very cheap. We're getting custom popcorn bags, and we're just giving out popcorn all day long at the event. And we're not, making someone upset because we're giving away the popcorn, because no one's selling food in there. It's just a community thing, and people are doing what they want to. So that's what we're doing to be in the community. And again, this event is taking place right in the middle of my daughter's farm. And so they've got their postcard. They see her. Now she's going to be just giving popcorn out to everybody. And again, there is going to be a quiet conversation that comes from it. I'm sure that someone says, oh my gosh, Allegra, we've gotten your postcard before. Can you come talk to us about the house? Or, oh, even better yet, it is so nice to meet you. And that's what you want, because you want the face and the voice, and you want to develop that like, know, trust relationship.
that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Danny.
You're welcome. You're
Very
welcome.
valuable information, and I know that a bunch of the agents who are on this call are mine that we've talked about farming. So I'm so glad they showed
Good.
up today. And
Good. 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 Congratulations. And if you have questions, Should I say my email address, Lana?
Yes,
I
please.
don't mind answering
Yeah.
questions. Yeah, my email address is my name, Danny Veal, DANNYVEAL, Danny Veal at gmail.com. I do teach a farming class, and I do have a farming handout that I could, if you send me an email, I'll just simply respond. It's called Farming Lab 101, and there's just some very simple basics with some reference websites that you could go check out. But yeah, DannyVeal at gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to share that handout with you.
So appreciate you and your time, and
You're
we'll definitely
welcome.
talk Friday.
And I'll see you next week. Yay!
Yes, yay. See you in a week. All right.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.